right, folks, I greet you. Welcome to Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Now, on the program, we keep tackling issues thrown up by my country, your country, just so you know. Today, quit if you are overwhelmed. Atiku charges President Tinubu. Of course, the benumbing insecurity in the land is enough for anybody to throw up his or her hands in sweet surrender. But if you are voted into office as President, Commander-in-Chief, you must face the odds, call the bluff of workers of iniquity. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the PDP presidential flag bearer at the 2023 general election, it must be emphasized, was an ally of incumbent country leader Bola Tinubu. But we're told that in politics, friendship or enmity are not permanent, only interest is. Atiku is charging the president to throw in the towel if the shoes he's wearing have become oversized. The presidency has reacted to this charge, but I dare caution that if you stop to throw stones at every dog that barks at you, you may not get home in good time. Mr. President, wake up. The elections are over. It's time to work for Nigerians. Let's have a conversation. My conversationalist this morning is Dr. Alabisi Deji Folutile. I greet you, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. And good to see you today.
All right, then. Atiku coming down hard, so to speak, on Mr. President is not surprising to you, or is it?
No, not surprising, because, this is politics. Yes, I know that they are allies. Apart from being political allies, they are also friends, and their friendship has dated ages, years. But in politics, there is no permanent friend, neither is there any permanent enemy. Yeah. So I think Atiku is doing what he's supposed to be doing as the party as the presidential candidate of the party in opposition. Remember that Atiku's party came second in the presidential election. So it's normal for Atiku to criticize the Tinubu's government.
Yeah.
And even if, look at it this way, that millions of Nigerians also voted for Atiku in that election. And Atiku's voice will be representing the voices of those millions of Nigerians that voted for him in that election. So he has a responsibility to also speak for those Nigerians. For me, that is what I saw in his criticism of the president.
Yeah. But don't you think many politicians in my country, your country, want to be politically correct without being offensive or derogatory? You think this is possible?
Well, I did not even see anything that is offensive in what Atiku said this time around. He only advised that if you are overwhelmed, quit. But I also want to agree with you that it's being politically correct, because I'm also not sure if it would not have been in the same situation
if the shoe were in the other leg.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm also sure that the other party, the current president, will have told him the same thing.
If not more.
If not more. Yeah. If it's the other way around.
So it is true that men are moved by two levers, fear on the one hand and then interest on the other hand.
Honestly speaking, you are very correct. Everybody's moved by more by their interest
than otherwise.
Yeah, because it's all you see, one of these politicians told me prior to the election, the last election,
the 2023 elections.
The 2023 elections. Okay. That politician was big in the opposition party. That was PDP. And working for APC.
That's interesting.
Interesting. And I mean, I was like, but you are working for APC and you are in this party, and all these years you've criticized the APC government. I'm surprised. Why the shift? He just told me, say, you are a journalist. I'm a politician. You come and learn from me. As a politician, I'm moved by my interest.
Yeah.
And you, as a journalist, be doing your analysis.
Yeah.
When you want to become a politician, I teach you how to be.
Yeah.
So,
And Napoleon Bonaparte said, let me quote him, high politics is only common sense applied to great things. If you wish to be a success in the world, promise everything, deliver nothing.
wow. Which is the way Nigerian politicians are really. I'm sure they took.
The man was thinking Nigeria.
He was thinking Nigeria. Because our politicians, that is just the way we can describe them.
Mm.
Some even don't promise anything. Interestingly.
Mm.
Some don't even, they even go away. They still miss it. They don't promise anything. They don't deliver anything. And they still get away with it.
But they're still voted into power.
Exactly. Maybe selected.
Sometimes I wonder if you share this sentiment. Are we living in Orwellian times, if you remember Animal Farm?
Well, I think we are taking ourselves back to that space.
Where animals on two legs are friends, the ones on four enemies, or the other way around.
But honestly, our politicians are making it seem like we are an animal kingdom, and that here anything goes, because things that you think can never happen, they happen here, and no consequence.
Basically, sometimes I tell some of my colleagues, you watch Nigeria unfold before you every day of this life, and you think you are watching a poorly produced horror film.
Yes.
It's happening before your eyes.
Exactly.
Let's look at insecurity in the land.
And to now imagine that we have this, you see, this security problem, we dealt with it for 8 years of the previous administration.
Yeah.
It didn't start in their time. It started during the Jonathan
in 2009.
2009. And the things we saw during Jonathan's administration, we thought it was all. We thought we couldn't.
Was it child's play?
Yes, that you couldn't imagine that people could go to school and take over 200 students
without
anybody. And you say you are in a country where you have security personnel and all of that. You thought that was the highest thing that could happen. But fast forward to Buhari's administration, we saw these kidnappings and killings, kidnap for ransom, focus on schools, focus on students and all of that.
Chiefly girls.
Yes, to the point that state governments were negotiating with bandits, giving them millions of money for girls to be released when they were tired, when they were, maybe people just withdrew their children from school and all of that, no more boarding schools. They shifted to the boys' schools. After probably people just stopped sending their children to boarding schools. Now they shifted to other places and all of that. And you thought that was the highest it could be. Just now, we
hear the latest is Ekiti State.
Now, I'm even coming to Ekiti.
Yeah.
You now hear a situation where they now go to houses to now kidnap people. In Abuja, in the month of January alone, family members were kidnapped. One of these was slaughtered for them to get a 70 million or 700 million ransom. I can't remember the actual amount, which they even got in any case. families being kidnapped, and now...
So, sorry, you don't believe they were rescued?
They weren't rescued. They paid.
All right.
They paid, and even one of the people that came out told us that no police rescued him, that he paid his ransom. That's why the fact that our security will give us that impression. As a matter of fact, if you have ever met anyone kidnapped before, they will tell you that they don't trust in the police and that in their own interest, they just want to get free out of the hands of the kidnappers and the rest of that. So now back to the Ekiti monarchs. You know, some of these things were happening up north, and you thought, okay, maybe because of but now 2 monarchs killed
in cold blood.
In cold blood, yes, killed just like that, just in Ekiti here, and not only that, school children abducted. They have not even reached their school. They just kukuma took the old bus where these children were inside, and they took them away.
Do you share the crazy sentiment that powerful people in my country, your country, are behind this crazy business of kidnapping?
Well,
does it appear true?
Okay, let me ask you this. When they make the so-called arrest that they make of kidnapped victims, when you look at the people that...
No, you mean kidnappers. When they arrest kidnappers.
Yes, the kidnappers, The kidnappers, when they arrest them, the kind of people they parade, how do they look? Do they look rich? Do they look like the people that have been collecting these millions of naira in ransom? So
you think the paraded kidnappers don't fit the bill?
They don't. I think they must be working for some people. And that is why I would say, well, probably powerful people are behind it, and those ones being arrested are just the front. Because they don't look rich, and they don't look like people that have access to the kind of money they demand from these kidnapped victims. Well, that is the way I feel. I don't know if you...
All right. So we're still a long way from home.
I don't think we've started the journey.
Wow.
I don't think we've started the journey because we are not even looking at... we are not seeing any positive measure being taken to
reassure the citizens.
To stop this problem. You know, it's getting bigger and bigger every day. It's getting bigger and bigger every day. And to now think that even in this kind of situation, in our own, where we are, with our economic problems, our political challenges, and all of that, you can't even see anything that the government is doing except throwing money at the problem. That's the only thing we see. Okay, this problem is there. We have approved 50 billion for so and so to ensure security. No, we've been throwing money at our insecurity challenge for years, and we've even had stories of generals building mansions in other parts of the world with our security money that we've been throwing around all this while. So, which means that we need to do more than just probably throwing money around.
Okay.
Do we need to look at the structure of the country, for example? People have been talking about state policing. Do we need to revisit that and see how this can help in fostering security in Nigeria?
You think that debate is winnable, the debate about state policing?
If we are interested in solving our problems, we should look at the merits. We shouldn't just look at it from the political angle If we are really interested in solving our problems, because I think what should be paramount to Nigerian leaders now is not just about being politically correct or minding politics and looking at things from the political point of view, but actually
at speaking in a manner that will not make you rattle the other man.
Yeah,
you are being careful. Trying to be politically correct.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So, but we should look at things from the perspective of what works for us as a country.
Okay. All right. The viewer must remember that we're looking at the quit order quit advice given to Mr. President by Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is saying, quit if you are overwhelmed by the shoes you are wearing. That's in obvious reference to Mr. President Bola Tinubu. We'll take a breather now and come back. Please stay with us.
Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
All right, folks, welcome back. Let's begin to take the discussion home. Quit if you are overwhelmed. Atiku is telling Mr. President. That's President Bola Tinubu. My discussant remains Dr. Olabisi Deji Folutile. Dr. Folutile, political opposition in a 21st century like this one means you have to be as fundamentally liquid as the rapidly changing society. So you look at the color of opposition. In Nigeria, the opposition parties have largely failed us, except that there's this school of argument that says when the Lai Mohammeds of this world were in opposition, they were like a tick, they kept you thinking.
Well, that's true, but I don't even want us to go to the likes of Lai Mohammed, because they actually brought Nigeria to the point we are today, in that at that time, opposition was about lying, and we saw the result of the lies and the lying of the likes of Lai Mohammed, and the deception.
So lies can sometimes be positive.
No, the deception and the lies, positive for those who wanted to snatch power, but negative for the citizens, the Nigerians. But the PDP ordinarily should have gained from the lies, don't you think? Gained by working positively for the people.
Yeah.
No, well, that time the purpose of the line was to take power from PDP.
Yeah, but then you think the incumbent at the time should have been kept on his toes.
Well,
for instance, I know you have not forgotten when the Chibok girls were snatched in 2009.
2014. Okay, was it 20? No, not 2009.
No, 2014. In the Jonathan time.
Yeah.
Yet the government waited for 19 long days before it reacted.
Look, I don't even want to go to that Chibok girls issue. You get it? And also, I do not want to talk about that PDP of that time.
Okay.
In that that was a party that was so relaxed, that felt it had everything, that didn't even know how to respond to Nigerians' grievances and complaints.
Okay.
You get it? Which the opposition at that time also took advantage of,
yeah.
And at the end of the day got their way into power. Now,
but
PDP
in 2024 the PDP is in opposition.
Yes, that is what I'm coming to now.
Yeah,
but now the PDP in opposition now. Let's ask ourselves, if there is even PDP, I cited one example earlier on, that one of them spoke to me when he was working for the APC prior to election.
Whereas he was carrying PDP man.
Not even carrying, he was a former governor on the platform of PDP. So for you to know that now we don't have any PDP. It is APDP. They are in APC and they are in PDP. So there is no opposition. If there is any opposition now, Nigerians themselves will be the ones that will form that opposition against any government. But if we want to look at PDP, forget about what former VP Atiku is saying. I mean, I've told you that we will just say that we need to be politically correct and we need to appear to be speaking for the people that voted him in and all of that, but just forget about that. He can't play that opposition. You understand? It's just latching on into what is going on.
When recently Atiku mooted the idea of a mega opposition party. You didn't believe him?
They are all working towards 2027.
Oh,
it's
2027 at play.
It's not about Nigerians. It's not about the people. You see, when we look at our politicians, you know that they are not really interested in the Nigerian people. If the opposition is really interested in the Nigerian people, the ruling party cannot be catching cruise as it is right now. The problems in Nigeria now, they are so enormous that you can't even imagine that the government, the people in government can even sleep. They should be having sleepless nights. You should be seeing it in them that these people are really working hard to solve our problems. So I can't see that in those people.
Do you know, I'm fighting hard to believe that what's befalling us is planned. It was really planned to be this way. And to what, in whose interest?
Planned in what way?
No. I hope you are following my drift. That, you know, the former American president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, if you remember, he said, if a mistake occurs in politics, just know it was planned to be that way.
Well, to that extent, I will agree with you that, and that is what will take me back to the era of the lying opposition that we had at that time, which resulted in the power being taken over by the APC. And it's a long plan. Those who took over power then, they had a long plan for Nigeria. And what we are seeing now is part of that long-term agenda for the country.
Do you think it is possible for a party in a 21st century world to plan that the people it's governing will render them immobile, helpless, hapless?
Well. It's not a question of planning to do that. It's a question of not being able to give what you don't have. That is the way I will look at it. It's also a question of when you are making your plans, what is at the center of that plan? Yeah. You understand?
What's the big idea?
Yeah, what's the big idea? So obviously the big idea for these parties is to claim power, to get to power. The big idea is not just, it's not the people, it's not centered around the people. And when that big idea is not about the people, you know, you just find yourself getting that power and now going back to look at.
Very natural question is, do you think Nigerians know what they want?
Nigerians themselves? I think Nigerians, they know what they want, some of them.
More like asking you, do you know what you want?
I know what I want.
21st century.
Yes, I know what I want, for example. I know what I want. But be mindful also that as educated as the American populace is, they still get deceived by politicians.
Okay, so the deceit is universal.
It's universal. It's universal. It's not, that is why, and in a country like ours, where our literacy level is not even as high as that of the developed countries, you can imagine, they can easily, all these adverts, political campaigns, and all of that, they can actually persuade people to do things otherwise. And don't forget our own country, where tribal, religious issues are
we are too clannish.
Yes, exactly. And in politics, they just bring them for these politicians to achieve their ends. And Nigerians, being who they are, religious, bigots, clannish, and all of that, they just buy into the ideas of the politicians, and they bury themselves in there. And at the end of the day, they find out that they have been scammed. Like many people think now that they were probably scammed.
Let me ask you pointedly, are we damned?
Well, I tell you, we are not damned, but we will be damned if we don't take the right steps that we should take.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in bearing this subject matter, therefore, would you rather, Mr. President, quit?
That one is too much for my mouth to say. Mr. President should ensure security. He cannot even quit. Even if I ask him to quit, he won't quit. But he should just ensure the safety of Nigerians, our lives and our property.
And what do you tell the opposition?
The opposition should do the job of the opposition. Atiku should not just speak once and go back to Dubai, sleep, and come back and say something when Nigerians are complaining and go back again. They should do the job of the opposition the way the Lai Mohammed of this world did it during the Jonathan's administration.
Because it's possible.
It is possible.
Let me stop you here. Dr. Olabisi Deji Folutile, my guest on Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV this day. If you haven't forgotten, quit if you are overwhelmed. Atiku charges President Tinubu. Until we come back again, let me say thank you to Dr. Deji Folutile for coming. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And then, of course, the backroom boys say thanks for watching. I'm out of here. Bye-bye now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.